Jake Paul, for one, social media celebrity. Jake Paul, for two, social media genius. In fact, he is also a boxer who knocked out a professional NBA athlete within the second round. But what even led up to this? And is boxing back? Because we are seeing tremendous numbers, as Mike Tyson himself said, who is the headliner of this fight.
25 million views, boxing's going back, thanks to the YouTube boxes.
Personally, I'm not even a fan of Jake Paul. I think the guy is really reckless and irresponsible and spontaneous in that matter. He is just really respectable in the marketing world, in the business world. I think he's a really good businessman, and it really shows in his marketing techniques for this fight, bringing in so many numbers and, well, bringing back the trend of boxing. I think that it is really, really hard to be a social media celebrity and be able to translate that into a fighting world like Jake Paul or Logan Paul have done and are doing pretty well for the matter. Like, it's hard to begin with to make a career out of social media, but then to translate that into other kinds of career paths is just really, really special, and to redefine that as far as Jake Paul has done with this beautiful knockout. Frankly, it's a really beautiful hit, and I mean, he just face plants. Nate Robinson being the NBA player who called out Jake Paul. So yeah, a lot of what these two brothers do for marketing in the business world of social media, it's controversial. That's what they rely on, is controversy for the most part, which is like having backlash and talking trash to other social media celebrities like Deji or like KSI with Logan and Jake Paul. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, controversy is always going to be something that people pay attention to. It is why TMZ has a voice in the social media world. It is why a lot of these kinds of things turn into trends, because a lot of people want to see this conflict between people that a lot of other people know of. And frankly, Jake Paul is really, really good at marketing himself and selling these fights. I mean, at this point, Nate Robinson has just become a meme. But other than that, Jake Paul has been on Twitter ever since, calling out these other fighters, like Dylan Dennis, I think his name is, and Conor McGregor. He's been fighting for about 3 years now, and in the fighting world, if you are not investing your lifestyle towards the fighting style that you are practicing, it's really, really hard to get any good at it. And Jake Paul has been non-stop training for this type of thing. Regardless of who his opponent is, the dude doesn't stop training, just like Conor McGregor has it as part of his lifestyle. It just becomes who you are. So in a way, I commend Jake Paul for dedicating himself to the sport of boxing, because maybe when he fights Dylan Dennis, he actually knocks him out, or he at least wins that fight. Then Conor McGregor is in the question 36 months from now, which is what I believe is what Logan Paul said about waiting for Jake to actually fight him.
He said, in 36 months, when I continue to train, and again, he'll have that exponential growth as a boxer, as a combat sports athlete, he'll get stronger, he'll get smarter, and guess who's going to get older and slower? Conor fucking McGregor. Yeah.
Well, by that time, he's right. Conor McGregor will not be as fast. He will be a slower, older aged man that isn't as quick and doesn't have the strength capacity to knock somebody out like Jake Paul, because in boxing it's really, really hard to knock somebody out because of the practice that you do and the bobbing and weaving that you train for. I mean, that's the point, right? You want to dodge the punches or be able to take one. And especially in boxing, I mean, all of your power is just in your arms and your fists. You don't really have to use your legs or chokeholds or flips or anything like that. So being that Mike Tyson is really saying that we should respect these YouTube fighters for translating their skill set of social media marketing and content creation over into the boxing world or the fighting world, and frankly taking out MMA, because I mean, 25 million is a lot of people. By doing that and being able to actually show up for it and show out, like knocking somebody out. Not that Nate Robinson has so much to show for it in the boxing world because he's just so new to it, being that he's in the NBA. But regardless, being a showman and putting on this amazing talent that he has shown us, like it's not an easy feat. Even making YouTube videos or putting on a show of any sort is not easy. Like, to keep people in tune the entire time, you need to be able to have that skill set or have that talent, that natural talent that allows you to kind of exponentially grow and become better at whatever it is you're practicing.
They help boxing so much. Boxing owe these guys they owe these YouTube boxers some kind of, respect. They should give them some belts, because these guys make boxing alive. Boxing was pretty much a dying sport.
And I think that in this case, Jake Paul has really, really done that. In 3 years, he has improved a lot. And I think 3 years to come for the future, I mean, he'll be a totally different person once again, being able to fight really heavy titles. But think about it. If you put in 6 years to fight someone like Conor McGregor, do you think it would be an easy type of situation for anybody? I don't think so. But I think that for somebody that can actually pull this off, or at least bring in the numbers that sell the tickets so that you can actually be like presentable, that is a different story. And I think that if Jake Paul can really pull that off like he is right now, I think he is considered to be a social media marketing genius in that fact of understanding the business aspect just enough, or well enough, and even more so growing in that aspect. He has deserved the name. Personally, it was a weird fight for me to watch. I mean, Jake Paul has his own groove and his own style now. He's developed that and has taken the time to really train for that, but Nate Robinson doesn't. He was just kind of running at him and clinching all the time. So I'm kind of interested to see what he would do with somebody like KSI, or even somebody like Conor McGregor, if that ever happens, which I hope it does, because that would be a really great fight that I think would sell a lot of tickets. Which again, selling tickets is not all that you need to do, but it is half of the game. The other half is showing up and being able to perform in this fight scene. I hope you have enjoyed or have gotten some value out of this video in terms of Jake Paul and his business perspective on social media. I hope you have a good day or night, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.